open look for three. Knocks it down! That's good from long range from Mikey Gabbard. Here, Lilia heads up fine, and now here comes the turnover. Morgan on the fast break. Should be an easy layup. Lays it in, and that's a tied game. Morgan with the basketball. Across to Whitley. Whitley into the middle of the lane. Whitley all the way to the rack. Good off the glass. Gabbard defended there by Dednam. Hits Hall off the screen. Kick to Casey Sorrell. Open for three. Got to knock it down. And he does! Whitley. Ball fake. All the way to the rack. Puts it up off the glass. No good. Dixon with the board. In for two! One last shot. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Gabbard. Corey Sorrell. Open for three. Beats the buzzer!
Welcome everybody to the first edition of Fleet Vision. I'm here joined by Erskine head women's basketball coach Russ Gregg. Thanks for coming to our first edition of the show.
I appreciate it, CJ. Glad to be here.
Coming off of a season last year where you finished 10-8 in conference and had a conference tournament berth in your first season as a head coach. Y'all lost by 5 in the first round on the road against Mount Olive, a valiant effort. But really your season, y'all had two leaders, Elizabeth Tatum and Portia Morgan, both seniors and both of your team's two leading scorers. In their absence, what do you look for from your young Fleet team this year?
You know, you really don't replace a Portia Morgan with one player. You have to bring in a combination of kids, and we're looking for some kids to step up there. Elizabeth just brought her hard hat to work every day. She did a lot of the little things, a lot of the grunt work, and she's another one that'll be hard to replace.
Yeah, and in replacing those players, you brought in a big freshman class, 8 freshmen along with 1 transfer. With such a young squad, a lot of people will be saying, well, where's the leadership going to come from? Who's going to step up on the court? What do you, from your point of view, who do you see stepping up and who do you see making an impact?
I think we've got 7 players back from last year. So, they sort of knew what to expect coming in, and so that was much easier transition than coming in your first year. But, I think we got some good leaders, Janet Dixon being one who led the conference in rebounding last year. Also, Tara Potter, very outspoken kid, does a good job. Of course, Shanika Whitley's our only senior, so we're looking for big things out of her. So, it's going to take an effort of different ones, and you're not really going to have just that one, one person like we had last year with Portia.
Right, and you spoke a little bit about rebounds with Janet Dixon. Janet Dixon, the conference's leading rebounder last year, out for the first few weeks with an injury. The second leading rebounder for the Fleet was Elizabeth Tatum, who we just spoke about, graduated. So at face value, you'd say, well, a team that finished 10th in the conference overall in rebounding might struggle off the bat. But who do you see stepping up in the rebounding category? And I know you spoke a little bit off camera about how out of conference is a lot more difficult to rebound just based on size. So how do you see your team stepping up and filling the shoes of the people that are gone?
Without Jana, she's a very physical presence. We've got to do the little things. We've got to be a little bit stronger and a little bit tougher than our opponent. And, that's very easy to say and hard to do. So we're, we've preached about boxing out and doing the little things and not trying to just grab the ball, because we're not going to be able to out-athlete a lot of people.
Well, you're going to get a big test on the boards right away. You'll have a tough 4-game road stretch to start off the season. Lincoln Memorial, Carson, Newman, Anderson, and then Belmont Abbey to start off the conference schedule. You also play Lander out of conference on the road, so you have a tough conference schedule this year.
I think these first 3 games on the road will actually probably help us going into the Belmont Abbey game, which is the most important of the 4, because they are a conference school, and we want to get off to a good start there. But we also, we're going up to this tournament in Tennessee, and we want to play good, and we want to get better. I think that's the key to get better, and you get better by playing good teams. And Lincoln Memorial's got a great coach in Roger Hodge, who's been at Armstrong with the NCAA tournaments, and Mike Mincy's he was a long time. After Carson Newman, we play Anderson, who went on the road and beat Clemson last week. So we've got a very tough challenge coming up, those first 3 games, and hopefully going into the Belmont Abbey game, we'll be ready to go.
And you talked a lot about the coaches y'all are going to face along the way. And in your second season as a coach, you're looking to get to that point where another team says, "Oh, we're going to play Russ Gregg's Fleet squad." And being that it is your second year of being a head coach at this level of play, what do you think you've learned so far, and how do you think you can transfer it in terms of a leadership role to the girls on the court?
I think the one thing was patience. Being able to give a little more leeway last year, early in the season when our kids made a mistake. I was very quick to yank them out, and so therefore they played a little bit more timid. So that's one thing I've definitely learned over the year, and I was actually able to reevaluate that around Christmas last year, and I really think that was huge as far as the improvement we made in the second half last year.
A young lineup starting tomorrow night as they go on the road to take on the Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters. They get a chance to start it off. Their 4-game road trip starts tomorrow. So stay tuned as we go through this upcoming season. And thanks for joining us, Coach Gregg. Thank you all for watching the first edition of Fleet Vision. We'll be right back after a short break as I'll sit down with Erskine men's basketball coach Mark Peeler. Back, everybody. I'm here with Erskine men's basketball head coach Mark Peeler. Thanks for joining us today.
Good to be with you, CJ.
A lot of hype this year surrounding this year's team, coming off of a season last year where y'all finished 10-18, characterized by 4 overtime losses, as well as 6 losses by 6 or fewer points. Coach Peeler, you have 4 returning starters in the form of Corey Sorrell, Deshaun Hall, Casey Sorrell, and Mikey Gabbard. What do you look for this year in terms of leadership from those players?
Well, we obviously have a lot of experience back. From where we were 2 years ago, where we were starting 5 freshmen, to this year, where we're really an experienced team. So the expectation should be high. I think we made a huge step last year in the number of wins that we had, the level of play that we had, and we expect that step to be even greater this year. And even hopefully double. We tripled our wins from last season, and I think the goal would be that we would double it for this season.
You brought in a few key freshmen this year. Just talk a little bit about the freshmen and which ones you expect to come in and have an immediate impact and help the ball club right away.
Well, Roderick Perkins has obviously come in and proven right away that he can play for us. He scored 24 in our exhibition game the other night against Presbyterian. He brings a load of athleticism to the table that maybe we've been missing a little bit in the past few years. And yeah, he got 6 offensive rebounds the other night. That's obviously been a weakness for us over the past couple of years as well. So his athleticism we felt was really key. We expect Josh May to kind of come around as well. He's a junior college transfer from Kansas, and hopefully see Jamal Rhodes develop a little bit as the season goes along as well.
You mentioned the team's struggles in rebounds. That was definitely a focus point last year, last in the conference in rebounding, getting out-rebounded by about 5 rebounds per game. Another struggle was the team's road record, 3-10 overall, with the 3 wins coming against St. Andrews, Johnson and Wales, and Allen. A lot of people say you need to have the key road wins during the season in order to perform well in conference and get that high seed in the conference tournament. How do you look to improve upon those struggles in this upcoming season?
Well, I think the rebounding part of it sometimes can be misleading. We didn't shoot the ball very well last year, so we missed a lot more shots than our opponents. So that led to us a lot of times being out-rebounded. So that's part of it. We would like to be able to minimize the number of offensive rebounds we give up. So it's something that we know we have to focus on. It's probably as far as the road wins go. We started the season last year at Lincoln Memorial, who was number 2 in the country at the time, and lost in overtime. The next night played Carson Newman, who ended up being one of the top teams in the South Atlantic Conference, and lost to them in overtime. And then went to Anderson and played and lost a 1-possession game at Anderson. They ended up in the region finals last year. So, you lose 3 disheartening games to start the season on the road. I don't care who you play. What we found out was that we lost. And so mentally that's hard to come back from. And so yeah, playing on the road was a challenge last year. And to be good in this league and have an opportunity to be able to challenge for this league championship, we're gonna have to play better on the road this year.
All right, last question, Coach Peeler. Is this the year that y'all make it back to the Conference Carolinas tournament for the first time since the 08-09 season?
Well, we're not really focused on that part of it yet. I think that the one stat that we've thrown at them so far this year has been that in the last 2 years, we're 1-17 before Christmas. So we've really gotten off to 2 bad starts in 2 years in a row. And while we played really, really good competition during that time, it's still mental. It's still a roadblock. Once you're 1-7 or 0-8, it's hard to come back from that mentally. And so we're really right now just focused on getting off to a good start and hoping that we have 3 road games to start the season. And we had a chance to play at home, but these 6 games before Christmas really will set the tone for how well we'll be able to play in January and February, because we just feel like we've been battling uphill for the last 2 years because we put ourselves in a hole. So trying to get an attitude that says, hey, we can come out and win it at any point, it's going to be established early. Hopefully we'll be able to start that trend on Saturday.
All right, folks, the record before Christmas is the main focus so far for the Fleet basketball team. They get a chance to start off on the right foot this Saturday as they go on the road against the College of Coastal Georgia. Thanks for joining us, and join us next week on Fleet Vision.